Welcome to the Jacksonville Momcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the real stories of local Jacksonville moms. Sponsored by Jacksonville Beach Moms, each month we'll cover topics to help you navigate mom life on the First Coast. Thanks for joining us as we tackle all things motherhood and more with a focus on the 904. Welcome to episode 27 of Jacksonville Momcast. Our guest today is Theresa Scordo. Theresa is with the Jacksonville Humane Society. And before we get started, we want to thank George Moore Chevrolet for being our episode sponsor. So Theresa, why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about yourself?
So I am a single mom. I'm divorced. I have a 6-year-old little boy and a 17-year-old Puggle Beagle Pug mix. I actually have a degree in sports management, but I work here at the Jacksonville Humane Society. And I started as a volunteer 10 years ago. I was here so often during the off season for sports that they asked me if I'd want to work here. And it's been an amazing career change and a real feel-good job.
And so for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about the Jacksonville Humane Society.
Yes, so the Jacksonville Humane Society is the second oldest nonprofit here in Jacksonville. We have served this community since 1885, and we're a private nonprofit. So we do not receive any state or federal funding, no taxpayer dollars. We rely solely on the individuals that donate to us every day. Our services have really expanded beyond what we're most well known for, which is dog and cat adoptions. And our mission is to engage the hearts, hands, and minds of our community. We have a lot of programs, and I'm sure we'll talk about that throughout, but just a few tidbits here. We do offer a lot of resources for struggling families, those in crisis, education and literacy outreach for under-resourced children, job development and workforce training for veterans, and internships in veterinary science for students are just some of the bigger programs that some of you may not be aware of.
And there are so many programs, and we are gonna dive into a lot of them. Some that I'm very familiar with our family, and some that you mentioned that I've honestly never even heard of before. So that's exciting.
Exactly, yeah.
So before we get started talking a little bit more about the Humane Society, tell us a little bit about what you do at JHS.
Sure. So I'm the Chief Development Officer, and I'm responsible for planning, executing, and managing all activities related to the raising of philanthropic gifts, private and public support, and sponsorships for the Jacksonville Humane Society.
So that sounds like a fun job. And do you get to play with the puppies? And I'm sure everybody wants to know if it sounds like more of an office job, but do you get to go out and play with all the animals?
So it's a really great job. It's high stress because I'm really responsible for fundraising our entire operating budget for the whole year. But what the benefit is, on a bad day, I can just walk downstairs and go take a dog for a walk, hop in the cat room and get some cuddles. I really have a lot of stress relieving here with our animals. And they do, again, reinforce on what I'm doing here. That's really impactful. And I get to see the happy endings every day at the end of the day.
That's amazing. Okay, so you mentioned that there's a bunch of other types of services, and it's not, Jacksonville Humane Society is not just a place to go for pet adoptions. You know, I've heard of the camps and the training classes. Tell us about some of those services that people may not be aware of.
Yeah, so we have amazing camps for kids, kindergarten through high school, an amazing youth volunteer program. We also offer training classes. So if you do need that extra help for your pets, we offer that. But we offer free behavior help via email and phone. So if you're just struggling with some pet issues, you can reach out to us for help on all of that. We also have a pet food bank that people may not be aware of, and we provide the community up to 6 pets per home, a month's worth of food if they're struggling and can't feed their pets. Anything and everything that for people and pets. We're a full service humane society. The one thing due to COVID that we did stop was our low cost veterinary clinic that was open to the public, but we converted it to a mobile unit that truly does resource rural parts of Jacksonville and Florida that can't get to vet care for their pets.
I did not know about the food bank. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So right now the food bank is a little low. So we have a plea out to the community. And what's really great way to help is if you have a pet like me that has had a diet change over the course of a life, and you have food that you just bought a 60-pound bag and now they need something totally different, you don't know what to do with open food, we take open pet food. So anything like that, any old treats, pet has passed, or you're just seeing a good sale, buy one, get one. All of those donations that come to us go back into the community for people that truly can't afford to feed their pets.
That's so good to know about the open food, because I know that's such an issue with dietary problems. And then you just don't know, do you trash the whole bag? What do you do with it? So that's fantastic that you take open items. So going back to the adoptions, pet adoptions, walk us through the process of finding your newest family member at the Jacksonville Humane Society.
So one of the awesome things about us is our open adoptions process. So we let families browse our kennels until they find a pet they like, and then they can meet with an adoptions counselor. This counselor goes through everything we know about the pet and can answer any questions that the families may have about introducing a new pet into your family. That means if you have a dog already and you want to introduce a dog to a dog to a cat, we're going to explain all of this to you. Our adoption counselors can even make suggestions about which pets may be better suited for a home with children. So it's not like the old days where you walked into a shelter and had no idea who you're going to take home. We have opportunities to test out the waters with our unique sleepover program that allows families to take a dog home for the night and see how they interact. And then you could either bring them back or try another dog or adopt.
That's such a great program. And I know you also do like the doggy day out, where you can go on like a daytime adventure if you're not ready to commit to an overnight. There's so many different levels of support for families who may or may not be ready for a pet or a new pet, how it works with their pet they have right now.
Yeah. And Shannon, I'm going to jump into one. Around the holidays every year, we have that silent night. I don't know if you've heard of that, where just for the holidays, with the winter break for kids, you can take a dog out of the shelter, give it a break, a staycation, and then bring them back, before school goes, or even shorter time. But it allows you to really spend time with a pet, give it a break. And most of the time people adopt from there, but you can bring them back. There is no guarantees. You do not have to adopt after any of these programs.
We have good friends that have a dog that was a foster fail from the Silent Night program. And they brought him home for, like, I think it was like 4 days. I think you asked that they pick up like right before Christmas Eve and keep him until a couple days after. And he's still with them. So, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah. And just to elaborate, we do that because our staff never takes a day off. We're never closed. We're open 7 days a week, every holiday. But for Christmas, we really try to give our staff the break. And the only way we can do that is if all the pets are out of the shelter for that night. So that's where Silent Night comes in.
That's fantastic. And if people want to participate in that, do they sign up on your website?
No, they just come in when we announce it. So it's always around Christmas holiday time. So we started a little earlier than usual last year just to see, because we get so many pets that come in all the time. So just stay tuned for holiday time and then come into the shelter and say you're here for Silent Night.
Perfect. And we'll post a link to your social media in the show notes so that people can follow you and kind of keep an eye out for that program.
Perfect.
So let's talk about pets and kids. Yes. What are some of the key things parents should consider before they bring a pet into their home?
Yes. So think about how active your kids are and the energy levels. Kids that are really energetic at home might be too much for certain pets, but could be a great fit for other pets. So in looking for a pet, think about your kids' personalities and try to align that with a pet that you're looking for. And we can help you with that with our adoption counselors. Also talk to your kids about understanding and respecting boundaries. That's something that we may not think of. If the kids are a little bit older, they may understand that, but younger kids may not. So you're going to want to try to talk through that process with them. And then think about, will your kids be playing a role in the care of the pet? If so, what duties will they be? Are they going to feed them? Are they going to walk them? If they're going to walk them and they're little, maybe you want to get a smaller dog versus a bigger dog so they're not being pulled. But definitely bring your kids with you when visiting the shelter to adopt. And we think it's really important for kids to interact during the adoption and the search process. Definitely consider doing a sleepover before adopting. So you don't have to commit when you're here, but you can take one home for the night. And the biggest thing is if they've never done a camp at JHS, I really recommend that. We teach body language, how to care for pets, everything that we know how to explain, but in a kid voice to them on their level. And we do this during a spring break, a day camp, a summer camp. Get them in at least one camp and see how they act from there. And you can tell whether or not they're ready for the pet. And they'll also know how and what to do when they have a pet.
And your camps, I cannot say enough good things about. My kids have done them. My daughter did a camp, and then we ended up adopting a dog from the Humane Society. And I forget what was going on, but I said, I think the dog is hungry or wants a treat or whatever. And my daughter was like, no, that means she's nervous, that body language. And she knew immediately, and she learned it from camp. She did not in any way learn it from me. She knew it from camp. She knew what that dog body language was. And she's like, it means she's nervous, just give her space. And she did. She went and laid down and was fine. But yeah, the kids learned so much about the different camps.
Yeah, and they get to practice what they learn at the camp, which is so important.
And you do have camps that specialize in cats. You have dog camp, you have an all animal, you have a couple different varieties. So if you have a particular interest, or we were kind of chatting before that our house will never have a cat. And so my daughter likes to go learn about the cats. So she gets that fill and then comes home to our dog.
Yeah. Again, we do them on one day too. So just think when school's out, we're in session here.
And sign up early because they do fill up. They fill up very fast.
Yeah.
So we talked about the taking home a pet for the night and doing the doggy day out to kind of prep kids. What are some other ways you can kind of get your kids ready for a new pet? And are there any like hard and fast ground rules? And I'm talking like, older kids that would understand, not necessarily like toddlers, but that elementary age, even middle school age kids, are there any, pet rules you should implement?
Well, I always recommend is to make sure kids know not to disturb the pet while they're eating or sleeping when they first get that pet in the beginning. I think that's just the biggest safety for them. We also teach pet safety classes for families. But number one, when they're sleeping and eating, you just in a new environment, make sure kids know not to disturb them. We also provide literature on body language, so it's really easy to read, and they're fun graphics for all ages to understand. And it's really good to know, what to look for on the tail wagging, on the lip licking, just things like that. Yawning is a stress sign. So we hand that out information. It's also on our website, but go over body language and then just the obvious things. Don't disturb while they're eating or sleeping in the beginning. How to pet the right way.
The petting the right way is a big one.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's an optimal age for when your kids are ready for a pet, or is it?
I think it depends on the family. If you want your kids to play an active role in the care of the pet, like feeding and training, maybe wait till they're a little older because, walking and all that it's a big responsibility. But I really think it's up to the family.
All right. So let's talk about COVID. It's been a while, couple of years. And how has everything that's been going on impacted the Humane Society?
Yes. So for us, prior to COVID just hitting, our city shelter had shut down for a spread of disease there that they had for one of their animals. And then COVID hit. So our local city shelter was closed for 6 months. Some surrounding shelters were closed. We were the only shelter open during COVID. So that means when you found an animal, a stray animal, where are you going to go? So now we're inundated because we don't have that other support from the other counties. So we were handling more animals, but it ended up being the same amount of animals, but with a smaller staff that was on split shifts. So we did 2 teams, A and B, just in case one team got infected and we were all out of the office. We never crossed. So that's where our staff was smaller because we were operating on skeleton crews on alternating days. But we still handled and saw the same amount of animals as we did previous years as we do now. We attempted an appointment schedule for safety, and it just wasn't the most successful. So we just worked on the standard 6 feet apart, constant cleaning, separating people when they got here. The biggest change for us was our low-cost veterinary clinic, our hospital to the public. we're very fortunate in Jacksonville to have a lot of great low-cost veterinary clinics like First Coast, No More Homeless Pets, and some other vets. So we decided that we were going to close our doors because of staffing for vets. We had a shortage of vets in the country in general, and we were constantly losing them to private practice. So for our pets, we closed that door and then created a mobile clinic that we go out a couple times a week to really rural parts of Jacksonville and Florida that can't get to a vet anyway. And we provided vaccines and spay and neuter surgery for them.
And did you see an uptick in adoptions when everybody was home?
No, and I don't know if this is just a media thing or it could have been in other parts of the country, but it was the same for us. We have been really steady with the same number of adoptions coming in, same number of, pet owner surrenders. The biggest is we saw more strays because we didn't have other shelters open to really handle the strays or lost pets that were coming in.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if people want to get involved with the Jacksonville Humane Society, what type of volunteer opportunities do you guys offer?
So let's talk about kids first, because there's a lot of kids and schools require service days. So we offer a middle school and high school service days 3 times a year. They fill up fast, but you can get in your 3 to 4 hours and really do some fun stuff. For little kids under that age, we have a positive reading program. They just have to come one time for an orientation, learn how to and where to go. And then they can just come and read to our pets anytime on their time schedule when we're open and get volunteer hours. And it really does relax our pets. It's an amazing program. Then we have a youth volunteer program for 16 to 18. So this is really for them to come on their schedule, pick a job at the shelter and do those, on the same day, same time, however many months they want to come or years they want to come. How I started as a volunteer was through a corporate group dog walking. It was a team building activity and it was so much fun. We got in our steps. It was like a fitness challenge type and we walked dogs. I did my 10,000 plus steps in one day. So we offer that mornings and afternoons for groups from 5 to 10 people. And you just help us get all of our dogs out. And it's a long walk on, uneven terrain, rain or shine. And it's a great way to volunteer, like a one-off, or you can set up a schedule with your business. And then you can always sign up to just be an individual volunteer. We're always looking for people to help us in every department. So it's not all animal interactive. Say you love animals but can't handle them or don't want to handle them. We have stuff in our offices, our front desk. You can make medical kits for us. We provide training on all of it. And every little bit helps. Every person that comes here helps. It helps with laundry. We have so much laundry all the time here.
I don't know about doing extra laundry, but
right.
But that's good to know that there's kind of a volunteer opportunity for however amount of time you have and whatever skill set you have.
Yes.
So other than volunteering, we mentioned a little bit with donations. How are some other ways people can support the Humane Society?
So the easiest way to support us is if you don't follow us already on social media, please follow us. We're on every platform. So TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, we're on everything. And that's the easiest way you can help us is by following us and just staying up to date with all of our information. The second is, making a gift. It doesn't always have to be a monetary gift. If you love shopping, we have lots of wish lists. If you want to buy us something on there or buy the pets something, they're always looking for toys and treats and supplies for their enrichment here. So that's something you can help us with. Adopting is really helpful for us. The others is just telling people that we're here. We don't have really any marketing dollars. So it's all word of mouth, letting people know that we exist. We're full service. Reference our website or our social media for all this information.
Excellent. And we'll put links to all of that in the show notes, and we'll be sure to link your wish list because I actually didn't realize you guys had a wish list. So that's a great way.
Amazon, Chewy, we have them all. So,
and that's a great way to support from anywhere in the country. You don't have to go by to drop it off, just have it shipped right to you.
Correct.
So tell us what your favorite thing about being a mom in Jacksonville is.
So I'm from New York. So I've been here now 12 years. And for one, I love that this is a kid pet friendly community. It's a big city, but a small town feeling. So it's like my favorite part of Jacksonville. I don't plan on going anywhere. I've recruited more and more family. Yes, I'm one of those from New York to get more people to come down here. But we love the beach and parks, and I'm very excited to see how we're growing and expanding and attracting new people here. I think it's just going to even bring more value to our city.
Great answer. So are you a dog person or a cat person?
Both. I love both. I have dogs. I love cats that act like dogs, and there are quite a few of them. You can train a cat. We do clicker training for cats as well. But definitely, I'm the one that probably needs the classes more because I come in hot on all the animals. I just love them, want to hug them and squeeze them. I have to remember my rules as well. But huge dog and cat person here.
And you mentioned you have a dog. Mm-hmm. Is there anywhere in Jacksonville that you really like for a good place to take your dog? Like, what are your favorite dog-friendly spots? Since you're also a mom, you probably also have a kid with you most of the time. What are your favorite go-to around town?
Yeah. So we love the drive-throughs that are so friendly here. I don't know if you realize this, but Banks and almost every drive-through that we go through with our dog in the car, picking up from school, all that, we're getting food for us. There's always a treat for the dog at every drive-through that we go through. And I just think that's so cool in Jacksonville. It's everything, not just food places. We're going up to the bank. We're always getting a treat for our dogs. But we love the parks. I do love that brew hound concept over there at the beach. It is super cool. Parking's a little rough, but if we can get a good spot. And we love that the beaches are pet friendly. So we are big beach people. And we have all the equipment for our dogs to enjoy the beaches as well.
Yes, the beaches are we have a very pet friendly area out here.
Yes.
And most of the restaurants out here have patio dining, and you can take your dog with you.
And that's what we normally do. Yep. It depends on who I'm with, because I love the heat, but some people are just, it's too hot in the summer to eat outside. But I do love that.
So is there anything else you'd like to add before we close up for today?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you. And recently we've been working with George Moore Chevrolet as well. So I want to thank your sponsor. They're also my personal dealership as well. So it's twofold here for me. I love Twofers that they're sponsoring, and they also provide amazing service. But just wanted to say thank you. I forgot to say, Shannon, is we are not a sad place. People assume that a shelter is like sad. They don't want to walk in here because they're going to cry about seeing animals in cages. We're like the happy place, and we relay that from our social, our website. Like, this is a good place. It's a fun place to come visit, and you don't always have to adopt. Like, you can just come hang out with the pets. Please consider us, tell people about us, follow us on social, and visit our website. And we're here for everybody. We literally help anybody with pets and people that want to have a pet.
Thank you so much, Theresa, and thank you for listening.
Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode of Jacksonville Momcast, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and follow us at Jacksonville Momcast on all the social medias for show updates and more information about our guests. To learn more about what you heard today, visit our show notes at jacksonvillemomcast.com. Thanks for listening.